time to razzle dazzle.
Do it.
Are you ready for
Open
round 3? Here we go.
Round 3.
Are you ready for it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Can't help it. Dance like an old man.
All right.
That's real dancing.
All
That's
right.
real
Time
dancing.
to get started. So hello, I'm Matt.
And I'm Luke.
And we thank you for viewing and subscribing to our podcast and YouTube channel at People's Champions International. You can also reach out to us directly at peopleschampionsinterntional@gmail.com. And so last week, we focused on the 3 industrial revolutions leading up to Industry 4.0. And we talked about the 3 whys as to how Industry 4.0 is going to be different this time, or potentially different. And those were transparency, livelihood, and governance. And then we wrapped up with a very engaging dialogue about observation we have on these whys and how they're taking place in the real world. So we want to give a shout out to our current viewers and listeners and subscribers as the word is starting to get out about People's Champions International and our purpose, mission, and vision to elevate humanity and all peoples and natural intelligence.
Absolutely, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, so we're going to dive right into round 3, which is focused on multiple articles highlighting what experts are saying about particular human jobs being obsolete. And so in an article by the Daily Mail, which is out of the UK, and I don't know if you know this, but they've been around since 1896, and they're the largest paid subscription in the United Kingdom. So this is extremely valid. All right, but basically they had an article that's recent that's talking about one human job after another being obsolete up to the tune of 80%. And many business leaders are not seeing this as a negative, claiming that people can find other things to do with their lives. But the question is what? I mean, up to 80% of some jobs can be eliminated. What are they going to be doing? That's one of the questions. And embedded within this article, Princeton University conducted a study on jobs most likely to be replaced by AI. So I'm going to read this from a list to you. They had over 20 listed. I narrowed it down to like the top 7 to save a little time today.
All
I'm
right.
going to go through this. Number 1 was call center roles. Number 2 was various teaching roles. This was the higher ed level. Several type of programs and courses being impacted. Sociologists, political scientists, arbitrators, and then this one surprised me, but judges and or magistrates. And the last one was also concerning too, and that's clinical counseling. I mean, can you believe or even think about being counseled by an AI? So, Luke, what are your thoughts on that, and how does this tie into what you're reading?
Well, yeah, there's some interesting roles that would be very strange to be in front of an AI judge. And like we've talked about in the past, everything AI is fed by humans. So who is the one feeding the data? Are you in front of a judge that's been fed artificial intelligence by somebody that completely doesn't align with what you view as the law or whatnot? So obviously concerning stuff, but it all ties into what we've been talking about. It's just like those are serious jobs that you would think would not be replaced by AI. You might think, some of these other jobs that, are just like automated already to a certain extent, but those are people working jobs. So it ties into everything we've been talking about. And basically, one of the things that we've been asked by a lot of the people that have been watching or listening, they've been sending us texts and messages is like, what do we do about this? Everybody's kind of concerned. And so, talking about previous industrial revolutions, we brought that up last week. And one of the things that we hit on was, A, this one's very different, but B, we didn't talk about that people were taking serious action to make sure that this didn't ruin society. People were calling for changes, calling for government intervention. They weren't being complacent. They were demanding that the government and the elected officials stand up. And it led to a lot of good things like child labor laws, minimum wages to protect against, sweatshop conditions that we see overseas that we don't see here in the U.S. There were regulations that improved workplace safety, workers' rights to unionize. There were social welfare programs like public education. I'm an amazing product of public education, so I'm very proud of it. And there was also healthcare was put in place, and people were that was all established to keep a healthy and educated population and workforce. So people, demanded change, and they got it, and we survived. And now here we are again, but on a whole nother level. Yeah. We need literally the whole of society to band together. Not just, willy-nilly people here and there. We need business leaders. We need everybody, each of us, to stand up against being replaced by AI automation, spread the word, contact your elected officials, demand candidates who are willing to elevate people over AI if they want to receive your vote. We have to take action.
Yeah, I love that, Luke. How you said whole of society response, and so I hope all of you peoples, us peoples, are paying attention. We talked about round two, not being complacent, and so this is very important. And on that note, going back to that UK article, tech bosses have acknowledged that social issues will pop up when AI start obsoleting one human job after another, and they don't know how to handle it. Then it further states that companies funding most of the AI research don't even care about doing good. They're just maximizing profits. And, Luke and I would agree. I mean, we understand small, medium, and large businesses have to make money. We get that. We're not against capitalism. But at what point, do you draw the line when it's replacing people? We understand, some job losses can go on out there with industry changes. But when you're replacing people's on job after job after job, that's definitely concerning. So let's talk about this a little bit further.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this, kind of offline a little bit, is that, that's what made America great, is the ability to come here, the outland of opportunity. You create a company, and, there's nothing wrong with capitalism, and it's turned us into great things. But typically, whenever you've grown a company and you're profit driven, you need more and more people to make that happen. And therefore, people are making money, and that's adding value to people's lives and to the nation and the world. But now we're at a place where they're saying they're going to put profits just and kick people aside. And it's like, that's going to destroy civilization if it goes in. And so we really need to stand up. And so you're thinking, would big companies really do that? And it kind of brought up a memory of mine. I remember I've been an Apple supporter. I've had an iPhone since they first came out. I love my iPhone, to be honest with you. But it reminded me of a case that I was like, are you kidding me? They've been doing this? Like, I was a victim of it. I'm sure everybody was. But they were instituting essentially planned obsolescence. I think that was the actual term. We'll provide a link to the article. But it was 2017, 2018 that it was uncovered, and they were sued, and they had to kind of stop doing it, as far as I remember. But anytime a new phone came out and anytime they put new software updates out, they would embed software that would make the existing older phones batteries die faster. And I remember being like, man, this battery's just dying out. It must just be the lithium doesn't last as long. No, it was actually planned obsolescence to say we were going to make that phone obsolete, even though it's not, because we want to make profit. So they were gouging people's pocketbooks, and just at the expense of making profit. And so if they're willing to do that, one of the biggest companies in the world will cast people's needs aside so that they can make more money. Then what's going to stop any company from doing that, really?
Yeah, that's a point we have to ponder, Luke. I mean, thank you for bringing that to our attention because, yeah, if they're willing to make products that we use each and every day, technology obsolete so that we have to invest and spend more money, who's to say they won't take it to the next level with people, right?
Right.
And so, the story that I've observed in an article that I want to share, and, I'll be brief about this, but this was just from last week on August
Put
24th.
your bifocals on for sure for this
Yes.
stuff.
Well, the print's very small, so you get to see with my glasses. But
Beautiful.
regional, a newspaper, a major cell phone carrier is laying off 5,000 employees due to duplicative roles. And I'm just going to read one quote from this, and I'm reading this right out of the article. The CEO said the company needs to move at the speed of technology, utilizing AI and other tools to simplify digital experiences specifically for every customer. And so, this is key. It's kind of vague. I acknowledge that, but it's talking about duplicative roles. It's talking about AI and speed of technology all lumped together. And there's an example right there.
Yeah, I think it was vague on purpose, but that's just my opinion. But what does that mean? They're duplicate roles, and then they're intertwining that with AI. They're not keeping those separate. So it's like, okay, do we have one person doing the role and one computer doing the role, and now we got duplication, so we got to kick the person to the curb? If that is what's going on, that's exactly what we're against and what we're concerned about. And just talking about we're talking about some big companies here. And one other article I read just recently was on Amazon. I actually just want to share the screen so that I get it right. But essentially, it was their shareholder report, and their CEO was talking. And I don't know, can you see this?
Yeah, it's
They talked about
looks like it's coming up on mine. There it is. It's coming. It's on my screen now.
yeah. So verbatim right here, it says every single Amazon team is working on generative AI right now. This is one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest. And their CEO said on their earnings
Mhm.
report that they do not have a single business unit that does not have multiple generative AI uh, policies going on right now, or programs going on right now. So AWS is involved, and I'm sure you're seeing that left and right. That's just taking off. So there's nothing that's slowing this down, and we need to move at a pace to stand up against this as fast as they're working on this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world. So, I mean, people, we got to be paying attention. And, as we've said in our previous rounds, we have so much to talk about, and the media will not and cannot cover it all. And so we need you people, not AI, all peoples to stand with us, no matter if you're from here in the United States or international, to basically, contribute and promote what we're talking about. We need to hear your stories about people, businesses, and or governments that are utilizing AI in a positive way for the benefit of society or an adversarial way so that we can hold them accountable.
Absolutely. So please, again, feel free to contact us at peopleschampionsinterntional@gmail.com or submit comments below on the YouTube
Mhm.
channel. We would love that. Like I said, we're getting a lot of texts and calls and people that are sharing it with friends. But if you can add the comments below, it would be great to start some conversations. Please hit like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot and spread the word. And we've got more engaging content to come. And our first guest coming up on our next episode, Matt, if you want to share about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but we're very excited now that we have our first guest coming up for round 4. We absolutely cannot wait for this, and we know the last couple rounds here we've been focused on the adversarial side, and what's cool about this upcoming round is that we're going to focus on the humanity side, the people side. We're going to elevate humanity and natural intelligence. So we're all going to. This is going to be a very positive podcast and very enthused about it. And so, once again, if you're interested in being a guest, just give us your name, your story, your credentials as to why you should be on. We'll vet that and make sure it's content we want to promote on People's Champions International. And just so you know, too, round 4 will be slightly delayed just because we have a holiday weekend coming up. But we do thank you for viewing and subscribing, and be well.
Be well, everybody.